Rooted in resilience, inspired by nature, powered by movement. The podcasts where healing meets empowerment. Let's rise and thrive together. And now, here are your hosts, Scott and Melissa.
Hey, everybody. Welcome into Rise and Thrive, a podcast by Vital Edge Wellness Coaching. I'm here with my fellow coach, Melissa, and she's going to kick it off with a mindful moment before we start talking about being in the present moment. So be in the present moment now with Melissa as she leads us through a little exercise.
And that's Scott.
I always forget to say my name. You know who I am.
So you might be doing something right now while you're listening to us. And I'm going to request, now if you're driving, that's one thing. Okay, I understand that. Or if you're walking on a treadmill, that's one thing. But if at all possible, you're able to put your phone down, pause whatever you're doing, put your pen down, fingers away from your keyboard for a moment, and sit back in your chair or stand or lie down. Big sigh with me when you're ready, in through the nose. And then let it out the mouth. And if it's possible, you're welcome to close your eyes or just keep a soft gaze. So I'd like you to simply relax your jaw and tongue. And start to notice, without looking around, the sounds that you hear. Maybe it's the hum of your computer or even the sound of my voice coming in. And even the sounds that might be out of that space that you are currently in. And then let your awareness come to the very subtle sound of your own breath. And maybe you don't quite hear it, but you definitely feel the effects of it. So notice that for a moment. Sensation of the inhale and the exhale, and potentially the sound. And in that moment, if you happen to drift off, hear something else, a distraction, a thought came through, just notice that that occurred and then gently bring yourself back to the sound of your breath, the sensation of your breath in and out. And let that next breath be a little deeper, a little longer, maybe even a sigh-like sensation. And then you're welcome, if your eyes are closed, you may open them. And if at all possible, maybe don't pick up what you were, maybe listen for a little bit. Before we get started, I'm going to just read a small little paragraph. This is a book called Things No One Taught Us About Love by Vex King. And as Scott mentioned about being in the present moment, I just want to offer this little piece here to kind of inspire our discussion today. We can be physically situated somewhere, such as a social gathering, and our attention may still be on what's happening tomorrow. We're somewhere else. Our attention is absent from the present, the only real moment that exists. We are absent from reality. After all, yesterday and tomorrow are simply fragments of our imagination. You will only ever experience now. So what we want to talk about today is the practice of being present and how to literally strengthen it like a muscle. Like we go work out and get our biceps strong. we're going to talk about how to build that strength of attention and focus because we are pretty distracted.
We are, by your cat.
We don't know if the microphone picks up on that because, the recording ability.
I just want to point out that this whole episode is about present moment, and I'm very present.
You were.
And yet here's Martin doing his thing next to me. So it is a great animal illustration of how easy it is to be squirrel, sidetracked cat, sidetracked as he climbs into his box next to us. Look, like all our topics, this is all about awareness, and we live in a very distracted society. Most of us, anyway. I think having been a meditator for 35 years and yoga practitioner for 25 years, I still struggle. And you described this morning your meditative time, how you were, oh my gosh, I'm thinking about this now and I got to come back. And I'm saying all of this to say that we understand it's hard. My first meditation class was through Chemeketa Community College. It was downtown. And I went in and sat on the floor, which at the time, that was very difficult for me. Tight hamstrings and no cushion. We sat on the floor, cross-legged, and then we were to breathe and sit for 5 minutes.
That was painful, wasn't it?
No, it was not a joke. It was painful. Not just physically painful, but mentally I was screaming to have this shit end. What am I doing? What is happening? My brain, my mind, before that moment, I never stopped to make it stop. I never asked it to stop or slow or just give me a minute.
Or knew that had capacity.
To do that?
Slow.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
And I screamed out of that class and I didn't go back. And so I'm telling our listeners and our viewers that we've walked it, still walking it. I told Melissa just today before we started the show that I feel like my wellness practices, my mornings and evenings have been very shallow. And today I had a great, deep yoga session, meditation session. I was using my breathing skills. You'd think as a certified breath coach that it would just be automatic, but it is not automatic. We have to be concentrated on being present for these practices, which then bleed into our other, which we're going to talk about, which bleed into our other distracted ways. So even when you have a practice and you're trying to be present, it's difficult to be present.
It is, because you go from your practice back into a world that is expecting you to be distracted and multitasking. And, we're not multitaskers as humans. We try to be, and we can half-ass all those things. We won't fully get them done.
Well, the science shows us the brain does not multitask. It just doesn't. Shuts down one task into another task quickly.
And so then it just gets kind of partially completed. So when we talk about, we understand it's difficult, what we wanted to bring today was a simple way that all of us can start to become more aware. It's kind of a foundational piece to our support, is to tap into that awareness, because until you're aware that you're distracted or aware that you have the capacity to have a little inner peace in here and in here, that you don't know any different. And a lot of times people will be like, oh, I can't sit for very long. You don't ask me to focus. I don't want to I can't do that. And so they poo-poo it. And I want to actually share with you, that is the practice. It's to show up and to be. And that's why I mentioned when I got quiet for a moment and let you breathe and just feel the sensation of your breath, hear the sensation of breath. I was quiet for a moment because I was giving us each a moment to drift, because that's how the brain's looking for the next thing. It's got to, want to attach to or think about. And we actually think, many of us have felt that was failure of the practice. But I want you to know that is the practice. When you notice that you are thinking about something else, like I told Scott this morning, I was meditating on the back porch and I realized, okay, I'm listening to the birds. I'm in my body breathing. And then I was thinking about something else. And then the air conditioning.
To-do list.
Just different things. And sometimes I use it as, some clarity comes with stuff. So it's not like I'm trying to shove those away. Mm-hmm. It's not like I'm trying to stop thinking. You're allowing yourself to be an observer of what's coming and going. So thoughts are going to come and go. We're not stopping it. You're not becoming this blank slate. It's you observing that and returning. That is the meditative process, is returning to the focus of the moment. And all of us have this device that lives with us a lot.
Or devices.
And the distractibility, the addiction to those, the constant stimulus, we don't even realize we're pulled into that. Even when we put the devices down, that wiring, that pattern of constant is still going. That's why you'll often hear when you come to yoga practices with me is we practice on the mat so that it shows up for you off the mat. And that's what Scott was alluding to about the practices, is that we're working on it so that it can show up more in our day-to-day lives and be more present when we're driving a car or we're listening to a podcast. I just told them the other day when you sent me that podcast, I'm like, I can't listen to a podcast and work at the same time. I don't know how people do it. I'm always in awe, because if I really want to listen to something and take it in, I want to be fully with it. I can go for a walk and listen to a podcast and be really present.
Don't ask her to chew gum, walk and listen to a podcast.
Well, honestly though, I'm not really aware of I'm listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm not aware of so sometimes when I go on walks, I don't wear stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go just be in the trees.
She's talking about her AirPods, by the way.
Yeah, my ear thingies.
Mm-hmm.
I want to just go be in the trees and breathe. And so I'll pick those times. But like Scott shared, I love your first experience, because that's many people go in. You see it like, what's that one movie I love with Julia Roberts?
Pretty Woman?
No, that's a long time ago.
Well, it's Julia Roberts.
I'm talking about the one, Eat, Pray, Love.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I love the one scene, and I don't know, I'm so bad at actors' names. I'm surprised I remember Julia's name. But this one actor tells her, like, that's what you're facing is yourself. You're facing you got to show up for you. And there's a scene, maybe I can look that scene up and attach it, because it's good. I'll try to remember to do that, because I've seen it. But it will really drive home, and many of you might even know what I'm talking about, the scene I'm talking about. But this is a practice. We got to practice and become aware of how distracted are we, and what does it look like to be present? What does it look like for you to be present? I'm asking you right now.
Well, for years, I have coached people around this process. And one tool that I really like is the be, do, have model. And it basically says, well, first of all, we're human beings. We're not human doings. And that's a mantra that has really helped me understand I'm doing more than I'm being. Let's be clear. And most of us are. We're doing. We're doing this, we're doing that. Oh my gosh, I got to finish this so I can get to that. Okay, I got to get some sleep because tomorrow I got to do this. We're always doing. Our minds just want to do. Yeah, we got our to-do list. We don't have our to-be list. And so the be, do, have model says, currently we do what we have to do every day so that we can have the life we want to have. So someday we can be the way we want to be. Mm-hmm. And that's actually not the right order of things.
Right.
The healthy version and the harder version in a world of distractions with work, devices, different pressures on us, mm-hmm. is the ideal situation is we want to be who we want to be so we can do what we want to do so we can have everything we want to have out of life. Mm-hmm. Be, do, have is better than do, be, have.
I like that.
Or do, have, be, whatever. You can do it either way. But the point is, put your being first. And in order to do that, you have to say no to some things, and you have to say yes to yourself, capital S, self. And it is craving, I promise you, having been through it, it is craving silence, and it is craving peace in a moment. It is a massive gift to yourself if you're willing to practice. And you're probably sick of hearing us say the word practice. It is the practice that gets you there, though. If you can do it for a minute a day, that's beginning.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what inspired me to do. I have these mini retreats called Self-Care Saturdays, and Scott's joined me on a few, and an upcoming one.
October 27th.
No, September 27th.
September 27th. Coming up.
Yes.
So go to our website for more details.
Yeah.
If you're local.
Yeah. And that inspired me to do silent. And I want to say, as I don't really advertise it being silent.
Surprise.
No, I'm advertising it. Because when you go to an event like that to go be in nature, to practice some yoga, you're not really going to go be real loud. But I don't want to start by saying you're going to have to be silent, because sometimes that causes fear in some
Anxiety.
of us.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, I need to keep busy. I got to keep myself distracted, because then I feel okay. And so what Scott and I have been doing, not only, in our private practices, but in our practice here together, is creating a space to help you know you and your body are safe, and that it is worth your time and effort and practice to exposing yourself to that quiet, sacred space. And so once I got people at the retreat, I would then kind of open up that we are going to remain silent. So you don't have to wear the hat that I'm this and I'm that and the doing, right? And our world has it backwards, right? We think we need the house, the car, the this, the this, the this. And the more of the getting of that, of what we think we want, then makes us have to do more to keep it.
It's a trap.
It's a trap, right? And then we're so burned out and tired that when we do sit down, and I've fallen into this too, I still remember my first exposure to meditation. First came to more of the yoga practice, and then meditation came. And I remember this was me in meditation.
You're dozing off? For our audible listeners?
I'm like, yes, I'm dozing off. My head's, I'm catching my head, because I've been, one of my patterns is a little bit of workaholic tendency, and just went right to school, college, degrees, all that kind of stuff, and entrepreneur, all that I just kept doing more and more and more. So when I slowed down, when I started to let the brain and body quiet, my brain was like, oh, she's going to sleep. And so it took time, it took practice for my body to realize that, no, this is not her going to sleep. This is her coming into a different kind of brainwave, a different kind of way of being.
Rest.
And I could actually hang out there and feel nourished. And now it's like, I look forward to going there. That is my place of ease and peace. It is undisturbed by any other human, any other thing.
Might be a cat.
Well, yes, there's animals, but they often, I want to say, animals often bring us back into the present moment.
Yeah, for sure. I know Mia does.
Yeah.
All right. So let's shift gears a little bit, because we're not shifting too far away from this commentary, but we want to talk about the power of now, which is also a book by Eckhart Tolle, which is fantastic. And the point of mindful practice is to be here now, fully immersed here now, not in your mind out into the future, or not in your mind worried about the past. By the way, most past thinking is centered around worry. Much of the future is centered around worry and fear. So find your...
Because we're creating it, right? It's not actually reality in that moment.
Well, that's true. However, that's easier said than done, because it feels like it's reality. So what we want to do is help you understand that now is all we have. And now it's gone. And now is all we have. And now it's gone. It is elusive, right? Now is now. It is not a minute, a second from now, behind us or in front of us. And so finding your way to actually be here now, quoting Ram Dass, is the magic for a fulfilling life of anything you want it to be. Mastering it is not always easy. And I'm not sure you can master it.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a journey. And I think the practice, when you were saying what's the word you just used? It's a practice, but not mastering it. The reason why we want to slow down and be in the moment is we all cherish these things. We cherish wanting to have meaningful relationships and love and connection and fulfillment. And we keep looking as if it's something in the future or something we have to work really hard to get. And what this is doing is peeling away the layers to realize it's already here. You can have goals. We're not putting down goals and plans.
Nope,
that's not at all.
That's different.
Present moment is to feel your body at ease in this. It's like at the beginning when I mentioned, if you If at all possible, put your phone down, put your keyboard away for a moment. And that is part of like what we're sharing today and what I'd love to have you think about doing. And you might already be playing with some of these practices or very much in a practice too. Just know that we're here to support you because we're practicing as well. Anytime during the day that you can like put your phone down for a moment and just see how you feel to just be right there.
Yeah.
And that starts. And like Scott said earlier, 1 minute a day or 1 minute a couple times a day, you start to do that. You become more aware and that muscle gets stronger. Just like if you go to the gym and you lift weights, that muscle gets stronger the more you build that muscle of attention to come back to the moment. And what you're going to find, what I've found, and what I know you have found, is deeper relationships, a deeper connection to what you value and what you want. And what was trying to come to mind, it was getting a little glitch just a moment ago, but it came back to me, is when you have those quiet moments, you start to really get to know yourself and your creativity comes back. And we've gotten so busy doing that we've lost what we're actually working towards or what we want or know what we want.
That's where burnout comes from. I think it's important to talk about the attachment to outcome too. We're an attachment to outcome society, and this presence practice allows you to release the outcome and take the actual journey and be excited about, which is something I know both you and I work on all the time, because it is something that I am definitely attached to outcomes. I'm very logistics and goal driven and driven in general. And yet, as I get older, the more I realize it's all about the journey. It is not about there, all the way out there. It is about here, right now. And then it becomes out there, releasing the outcome to say, well, let's just see what happens if we do this now. As a mindful practice, it's a present moment practice. So we're not talking about just sitting in silence only, but actually while you're on your keyboard, can you be just on your keyboard? While you're on your phone scrolling, can you just be scrolling, or are you cooking and taking care of the baby?
It's like Thich Nhat Hanh said, wash a dish, washing a dish. That's all you're doing.
That's all you're doing.
You're feeling the soap on your hands, the water. That's what I was alluding to. That's strengthening the muscle when you're doing. It's not wasted time. It's not, I could be doing this and doing this at the same time and getting it done. No, by actually being with that one, or let's say you're listening to a colleague speak about something and it's not really of interest. But how valuable it is that you put down whatever you're doing and listen to them and just be with them. It's not about the topic. It's about that present moment exchange.
Right. Yeah. And the reality of it is that, like we've said in previous episodes, you're going to eat the elephant one bite at a time. It isn't something you suddenly throw a light switch. It's like, okay, well, I'm doing this. And the only true people who have mastered are monks who live their whole lives in the present moment without a lot of to-dos. And even they will struggle.
Oh, yeah. It's just human condition.
So it's important, though, to say that, because you're going to, we're driven. And you're not going to just suddenly not take the car in because, you don't want to get it fixed because you need to be in the present moment doing something else. You do need to kind of know when to multitask and recognize that you're multitasking. That's awareness. Oh my gosh, I'm doing too many things at once.
I got to pause and just take a breath.
That is part of being in the now. It's not stopping that as being in the now. That's what we're encouraging you to do, is to slow that routine. But just when you start to go, oh my gosh, I'm doing 4 things at once, that's your muscle memory teaching you, yes. Now, what do you do with that? That's when you say, okay, I think I'll take a breath here for a minute. I'll put this device down. I think I'll shut that door and I'll just do one thing and do it to completion.
And that's huge.
That is huge.
And it's been proven that when you do that, you actually get more done. When many of us are thinking the other way. Oh, I didn't get enough done today. I didn't get, and it's releasing that attachment to the outcome and knowing that our to-do list never will end, because that's just part of the journey of life. We get to choose how we show up for it, though, and how we take care of going to the car place and making that a priority.
And we're asking you to prioritize being in the now. that doesn't mean
And practicing with this.
it doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to end up in a cave cross-legged.
No, not at
What
all.
it means is you're going to live your life the way you're living it and notice how you're living it in that moment, and then continue to practice the other practices that we've talked about.
Mhm.
And we need to talk about the nature component before we sign off. And
I was just thinking that.
yeah, and Melissa and I are huge proponents of getting your feet on the earth
Yeah.
barefoot all year long. And allowing that moment to be part of your practice, because it is definitely grounding you for the rest of the day, or it's grounding you after a busy day.
Or during.
Nature keeps you honest about being in the moment. Nature
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know any different. Nature's seasons are what they are,
Yeah.
and nature's always present.
Well, it's so funny. I'm laughing inside because I was already thinking that. I was thinking, how does my mindfulness practice show up in my day, my present moment practice? And that's one of the things I often do in between sessions or when I have a moment is to go stand outside. And one of my deer, and put my feet on the ground and the warmth, and right now there's warmth. I have a dear client that's amazing photographer of birds, and it just has inspired me with her art and of the pictures. And so I've asked her, what bird feeder should I get? And that has really helped me have mindful moments, present moment, because I go out there and I'm with the bird in the moment and watching these little ones, eat, take a little bath, do all that. And it's amazing how that can reboot your system and bring, again, that creativity, that clarity to come back to the moment and be in the moment. And then when I go back to my task, I'm in the moment more in the task I'm returning to.
Yeah, it helps you prioritize a little differently for sure. And it's inspiring to see other creatures not carrying the burden that human beings do. They don't carry that burden. They have their other burdens,
Right.
survivability and quest for food. And
so it's not saying we're thinking it's negative to be human.
No.
It's just we have
it is a beautiful
bit.
simplicity observation, though, right?
Yeah.
And I feel the same way. We have lots of birds around our house too, and I feel the same way about plants, though. I love to check on my plants outside and see, and my house plants too. They are also teaching present moment and being in the moment and being in the now, and very simple needs. I just need a little water occasionally and some soil. So we're suggesting that water yourself, be very rooted in your own soil, know what you're doing in the moment, align the brain and the moment and the heart, and eat the elephant one bite at a time.
Yeah.
Just start small.
Just becoming aware of where you're at and be there.
Yeah, fully, if you can. Immerse yourself. And as usual, if you have questions about this is an area that we have done a lot of work in for ourselves and for many others over a combined 50 years. So it's hard to believe when you say that out loud. But if you would like more information, contact myself or Melissa through our website, and we'll let you go be. And hope you have a great evening, afternoon, or morning, depending on when you're listening. And we'll see you next time on Vital Edge. Take care of each other, and don't forget to continue to take care of yourself. You will.
Namaste.
Thanks for tuning in to Rise and Thrive, a podcast by Vital Edge Wellness Coaching. If you found this episode meaningful, please rate, review, and share it with someone who might need it. For upcoming retreats and to join the Vital Edge Wellness community, head to vitaledgewellnesscoaching.com. Let's rise and thrive together.